This trip started out as Tuktoyuktuk being my destination. And I was initially going to ride my BMW that I had at the time. Then this little Scrambler popped up on Facebook for sale at the Harley-Davidson dealership near me, and the first time I saw it, I decided, wow, this is the bike I'm taking north. And so began my journey. I stripped out my kickstand bolt the day before my trip was supposed to start. Luckily, I found one in Glendale, California, and had them overnighted. They had 2 in stock, and I took both of them.
Good evening, everybody. So, things didn't quite go as planned. I almost blew this whole trip because of this stupid bolt down here. I found one, had it overnighted. Yeah, it might make it, it might not make it. So I split early this morning, and I'm in Nevada. Very windy. Cool though. Kind of remind me of Afton Canyon out on the Mojave Road. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. Things didn't go as planned, that's for sure. I'm just happy to be on the trip for as long as that bike holds together. For the record, I'm probably the most tired I've ever been on a bike. So, hoping that Rich and I meet up again here somewhere north of the border. I think we will.
Now, I met Rich a couple weeks before I started this trip, and we decided we were going to ride up to Prudhoe Bay together. And right before the trip, I broke that kickstand bolt, and I really thought my trip was over before it began. So Rich went ahead and left the day before me. Well, as fate would have it, I didn't make Tuktoyuktuk because of the mud, and I decided to head for Fairbanks, Alaska, and that's where I ran into Rich again. So, kismet. I always enjoy my time riding in Nevada. It's so unpopulated and beautiful. So easy to get away from people. I really hope it never gets discovered the way Arizona has. Well, here we are. We made it to Idaho, still headed north. Kind of funny little story about Idaho. You know, I had to carry extra gas for the trip up between Fairbanks and Prudhoe Bay. Well, the only place I almost ran out of gas was right here in Idaho. Okay, by now I am just absolutely freezing. It had been raining all day, and I decided to stop in Missoula and get a room. So I stayed overnight for actually 2 nights. I stayed in Missoula, bummed around the town the next day, just kind of checking things out, had some beers, and the next day decided it wasn't going to stop raining, so I pushed north into Canada. Now you'll notice on my handlebars I have hippo hands. They are fantastic for blocking the wind and rain off your hands, especially on a bike with no heated grips. Yes, even on vacation, I try to eat healthy. I try not to eat out much. And we are in the north. Just stopped into this shop here to get a rear tire put on and an oil change done, so we have a fresh start for the Alaskan highway. It always gives me goosebumps. If you guys ever have a chance to go up here, you need to do it because it is life-changing. I'm telling you, I want to go back. I've been up there a couple times and I want to go back. It's just amazing. This is the famed curved wooden bridge on the Alaskan highway. Very cool. Had to have me a couple beers. Yep. Hanging out in the trailer park. This couple was from Spain. They were traveling the world. Ah, yes, the signpost forest. You can spend hours here taking pictures. There's so much to see. It's really a neat place. Found an awesome festival in Whitehorse, Yukon. Cool place to camp. They had beers, and this guy had way too many beers because he is out cold. This little car was neat. I decided I needed to top off my spare fuel tank because we were headed for the Dempster Highway. And here we are coming up to the card lock at the beginning of the Dempster Highway where neither one of my credit cards would work, so that was the first bad omen. And then, of course, everybody was telling me about all the bikes stuck in the mud up there, and I decided that having poutine might be the better option. So I stayed the night in Dawson City, and in the morning, crossed the Yukon River and rode in the rain across top of the World Highway. Just absolutely stunning. Just beautiful. I mean, words cannot express the beauty here. And it was a long day. And by the time I got to Tok, apparently I was so tired I dropped my motorcycle. Yep, that happened. But when you drop a bike, you always have to take a picture of it. So I found a room in Fairbanks, Alaska, and it turned out to be in a really sketchy looking trailer park. So I decided to bail on that, and I stayed here at this hotel and had just a fantastic time. Here I am at Schwinn's Base Camp Hostel. This is where I began my trip up to the Arctic and ended my trip from the Arctic. And these are little sled dogs in the making. Sven has a bunch of those dogs, and he does sled trips in the wintertime. And I believe he competes as well. There's my little room. Of course, the Pickardin bug spray. These guys came all the way up from South America with a camera crew on these BMWs, and they had them loaded up like trucks. And you know what? Those bikes do handle it, but God, the way they're set up, whew, heavy bike if you have to pick it up, that's for darn sure. So Ed and I became friends on Facebook in 2015 when he followed my trip to Alaska the first time. And lo and behold, who do I run into in Fairbanks, Alaska? Ed. It's crazy. Let's take a look at a map and head north, shall we? Our first fuel stop in Yukon River Camp, and this guy is traveling from Australia, believe it or not. And it was our very first taste of the mud, when holy mackerel was that mud sticky in this parking lot. As they say, birds of a feather flock together, and we met this guy he was from North Carolina, and he rode up north with us and most of the way back down south. And here's the first monumental landmark. Just so cool to cross the Arctic Circle. We are camping just north of the Brooks Range on our way north. It's probably about 11 o'clock at night here. That's how light it stays. You definitely need earplugs and an eye mask to sleep up north. If you look close, those aren't birds, those are mosquitoes. I was so cold at this point. I was really happy to get to this hotel room. And we finally made it to Deadhorse. So cool. I mean, this is just an epic picture. It's one of my favorites. You know, I still can't believe that little Triumph held together to make it. And look at the prices up here. Holy mackerel. So this is my room at the Prudhoe Bay Hotel. It's a twin bed and a chair, but all the food you could eat. You can just go ahead and eat all day long if you want. Here we are on the bus up to the Arctic Ocean. Very cool. I mean, standing on sea ice was just the pinnacle of my probably life. I mean, I still remember how excited I got when I ran out like a little kid out to this point. You know, and I was stomping around in the water. It was just awesome. is just the excitement. I made it. I made it. Well, this is our last day up here in Deadhorse / Prudhoe Bay. We stayed the night here at the Prudhoe Bay Hotel, which is very plain Jane on the outside. Pretty simple rooms, but boy, do they put on a spread. Isn't that right, Rich?
Nice and warm, all you can eat, good company.
Yeah. And
View goes on for
as far as that fog lets you see. Took a little shuttle out to the Arctic Ocean yesterday. Here we go. One of the Carlisle transportation trucks. The famed ice road truckers. Pretty cool. What I did here this morning is this poor thing. The oil cooler was just covered in mud, and the center ones are still plugged up. The lower fins on the cylinders were caked with Dalton Highway mud, so I spritzered it off with my, because they won't let you have a hose up here. So I snuck a little water from the room, spritzered her off, lubed up the chain this morning, and my tire. Everybody's incognito up here. You can't tell where anybody's from. Just a little bit of taillight showing. That Dalton Highway, guys, is no joke. It's pretty challenging. And I was freezing yesterday. And I don't know, you guys can't see it right now, but I can see my breath. It's about 29 degrees. The tundra is so cool, and some of the animals on here look like they're right out of Star Wars. Here we have a muskox. They look really cool when they run. Little did I know it when I took these two pictures that we would party with these guys later this afternoon. One of them's on a Suzuki Bandit 1200. The other is traveling from the Netherlands on a 1951 BMW. I believe that's what year it was. It is absolutely stunning. When you come over this pass, it just takes your breath away. The beauty just, it brings a tear to your eyes. And here I am having beers with the fellow from the Netherlands. He was the one on the BMW, and he was the guy on the Bandit 1200. We had a lot of beers that night, and the next day, the fellow from the Netherlands and myself, we both ended up putting diesel fuel.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Gas tanks.
what we have here is the results of too many beers. And it's the only diesel pump in the world that has a nozzle that'll fit inside of a gas tank. Yep.
We met again several hours down the road, and his bike was not doing well because of the diesel fuel.
It's good luck.
Earlier it was also idling. As soon as I opened it, quits.
Tire wore out just a little bit sooner than I expected, and I was able to find one here at this dealer and spoon it on real quick out in the street.
Hey, good morning, guys. Well, we're in Whitehorse, Yukon, and my tire wore out about 1,000 miles before I thought it would. She's pretty well shot. You know, it don't look bad on video, but it's down to the wear bars, so adios to that one. Found Lister Motorsports here in Whitehorse, Yukon, kind enough to sell me a tire, not yell at me for changing it in front of their shop. So, just waiting for the bead to sit.
British Columbia is still one of the most beautiful places on earth. Started as a bike with 800 miles destined for the auction. place was disappointing. Really loud, really expensive, really crowded. If you ever get to hear the song MC Horses by Ian Tyson, you'll hear him sing about the Adele store. And, well, this was totally on a bucket list to have a beer at the Adele store. Topped off with gas and I make a right turn onto a dirt road, and we are in California.
Good morning, everybody. So I left Cedarville, California this morning, and I'm in somewhere in the middle of Nevada on just this motorcycle road. This is a motorcycle road. It is perfect. I haven't seen anybody all morning. Also, I haven't seen any gas stations. And I'm more than halfway through my range. So that's a little concerning. This is what I love about not having a plan. I have no idea where I'm going to end up today. I hope I don't end up out of gas. It's been all twisties this morning, just curvy roads, pretty decent shape. And as you can see, I have it to myself. It's pretty cool.
With nearly 6,000 miles on the oil, I pull into a Walmart, buy some supplies, and do a sneaky parking lot oil change. This is where I stayed last night, the Atomic Inn in Beatty, Nevada. And I just had breakfast at Mel's Diner. Yep, I'll have you guys check out the digs. So we're like pretty close to Area 51. So be riding through there today. So they told me I could stash my bike back here if I could fit it. She barely fit. But she made it. All right, let's check out the fancy digs. Room number 10. Oh yeah. The best part about the room is I could not get that to turn off all night long. But look. Fancy. Mirror action. And you know, pretty random pictures. The Atomic Inn, Beatty, Nevada. Not real sure what's going on here. But hey, the bed was actually pretty comfortable. It had no bed bugs. And well, this is kind of an odd combination, but whatever. Hey, they got ducky washcloths. And the shower was clean. So, got not much to complain about. $60. Boom. And my journey comes to an end with a free high five from my buddy Brian at his brewery.